Yo, I'm back. I got last video of the day for us. So this one I've been playing for some time now. It is probably one of the most beautiful things I've seen. And although we have a couple warning signs, potentially, I really think this is something worthy of getting in on. And it's not something to sleep on for sure. So I've been playing it now for the last week or two, and I've been locking in some decent gains, like decent daily gains. So the first thing that we want to talk about here is these two indecision candles. Now, it definitely could be a negative sign, but it could be a positive sign as well, which is why I'm kind of waiting to see what this last candle is. I'm already in on it. I have been entering at this trend line here, where it's been constantly bouncing off of over and over and over so far. So I've bought these last 1, 2, 3 daily candles. I'm kind of waiting to see if it's going to fall from this area, break down, and start finding support on that bottom trend line I have drawn across. But I'm actually thinking that it's not going to do that because it's kind of a random support line that I have drawn from like a 4-hourly or maybe even an hourly, so it might not even mean anything on this daily. But as you can see, one good thing about these indecision candles is that they show a wick on the top and the bottom. Now, although it's kind of an indecision / spinning top candle, which could be a negative thing and they're closer to a top of a trend, the thing is it shows you your exact resistance and support. So what's nice about that is you can see your area to buy and your area to sell according to that. So that being said, if we were to come down, you're looking at like 906, 907 area for your next support. And if it was to fall below that, then you have then you have a potential for it to fall to the following support line, which I've seen it wick down to once so far. Now, you're basically getting resistance at 955, and you're getting support at, well, I've been grabbing it around 895, 880 in those areas, but I think 906 is going to be your best one. Now, the breakout of this is 1095, but you have your longer term overall, the whole entire life of this thing is 1036. So that's going to be some pretty big resistance. As you see, we've already had 2 double wicks up there on the daily. In the past here, we've had a touch there, and then way up top, another touch there. So I'm running the wicks from right across from there all the way. And, then I'm going to run a support line all the way on the bottom. And as you can see, this is going to be the breakout. If it gets above this 1035 and finds support, doesn't mean it has to do this run in one day, but eventually over the course of the next few months, it could be up in this 2472 area is where I'm watching for. So, I put my money where my mouth is, and I actually put about $2,500 in on this last dip down. Now on the RSI here, you can see it's rolling over on the daily. And it's been coming down and touching and then bouncing and touching. And it looks like it could create a small W. But to me, that's not super. It's a small ass W. So I like to see monster W's in the RSI. And that tiny little W doesn't really excite me or anything like that. But, anything could happen here because the thing is, this is a massive sell volume, which is a little concerning. So I have a couple negative things, like I said. But I'm going to show you the positive things here. And one of them is this great rounding bottom. The other is this is a bullish pennant right here that we're in. And, with the 2 indecision candles, yes, people don't really know what to do right now. They're not sure whether to buy or sell. But, if you look at this weekly and this monthly trend and everything it's been doing since, if you look at the bottom here, we had 2 indecision candles. Then we blew up there. And then, over here we had an indecision candle. Then we blew up. And in the past, pretty much that's how it's kind of played. So, it could be that we are going to have a red candle after this. I'm still waiting to see, you know what I mean? So we're on edge. So if you wanted to play it really safe, you could wait for a 1035 breakout confirmation and buy there. Or you could play it like me, and you could hop in potentially at this 906 area and put a stop loss around like 899, maybe, depending on your risk ratio here on how much you're willing to lose. You could put it at like, 895, 894, something like that. So the last time I bought it was at 895. The couple days prior, I got it at 881. And, we've been creating higher lows ever since. So as long as we don't break this trend here that we've been pretty much, actually 100% supported by this whole way up, then the run is not over and we could continue up. So, I think I bought it the first time. I have a video if you want to look back. I bought it right before this massive pump, and I made a video on it telling people to get in. I believe it was around $6.50. And I wrote it up, and I sold a lot of my profits when it first wicked off of this trend line. That's where I expected it to get wicked out. And, I've been watching it since. Now, after looking back at this thing, I kind of went, I always like to take my profits. I had a swing trade. I had a plan. I had to stick to it in case anything went negative. And, it's never a wrong time to take profits, even if they're early or not. And you can always re-enter. And that's what I'm doing now. I'm re-entering. So, I feel confident in what I did for my buy zone. And my sell zone. And now I'm feeling confident about this buy. But like I said, I have my stop loss set pretty tight, just in case it goes downside. But this rounding area here, I have this rounding cool tool that I found, and I decided to add it on here since this thing is so beautiful of a round. And if we were to fall down negatively from this pattern, you have your supports down here at like 798 and 830, and obviously if it continues to find support on that, we're probably going to stay in there. Now, the first thing that I was wondering about this is this giant pennant that we're in, or this giant pattern that we're in here. I was a little nervous because I was thinking that maybe we're going to fall down out of it and we're too soon of a breakout, because usually patterns like these like to break out at the end of the channel or the end of the pattern. But when I was looking back and comparing this to a few other charts that I have been playing and have played in the past, and I'll get into those in a little bit, I'm going to show you a comparison of some pretty cool things that might amp you up. If you look at this on the hourly here, we had a little double top. We came down, made a W, went back up. It's been kind of doing that. And right now we're trying to find support here, which is great to see. So, what I'm trying to wait to see is, are we going to come down, keep finding support where we are, and then head up? Or are we going to come back down to the bottom of this, which would be around the 870, 880 level? Or are we going to be breaking out? That's basically where we're at right now. The moving averages on the hourly are underneath. The yellow's underneath the red right now, but at any given time it could, it can pop up and give us a pump. So, and according to my RSI, we're actually getting support on this smaller pattern that I have drawn here. So if that made any sense, I'm not sure. I was kind of rambling there, but I want to get into some cool shit in a little bit. But if this kind of trend line breaks through, then obviously we're going to be going to the end of it, which could be around January 14th. But if we're going to be breaking out, we're looking at like January 6th, which is right around the corner. So, this is not very far away from when we're going to figure out what's going to happen. But let me show you the part that I'm excited to show you guys. And these are all my crazy, crazy stocks that I got here. And this is one that I screwed up big time on this, I'll tell you guys. I bought this thing at $7.50. I got about 200 shares, and I sold it right before a freaking huge blast off. And I'm not trying to make that same mistake right now. So if you look at this is JMAI, and I'm sure JMIA, and I'm sure you guys know about this stock. But look at the rounding bottom on this thing. Look at the pattern it's in. It looks identical to KLDO. So I took the same type of deal. I took the wick from the highest point all the way across, and when it broke through, which in KLDO's case, 1035, and in this case, we broke through and we had a breakout, and the measured move of this breakout for me is $65. Now, I didn't do this giant pattern I was still learning about technical analysis at the time when I bought it. I just liked the rounding bottom. So if you take a look at this JMAI, not that we're doing a video on this, but I can while it's right here. Just like everything else, I would draw this weekly support line here and just show that we've been in this strong uptrend. We have a little bit of a spinning top kind of looking candle at the top here, which could be a negative thing, and the weekly RSI is going over. But, where we've been catching resistance so far is that $49 area. So if it breaks through that, then you're looking at a move up to the $65 area. But if you did want to play this thing, depending, the weekly RSI does look like it's rolling over, but anything can happen here. You could make a play on it because it's been following this line, and it looks like it just recently wicked down, touched it, caught support. Now that spinning top, like I said, is a little concerning, but you can play this thing with risking $1 per share. You know what I'm saying? Because if you were to buy it right here, this was the support, was $39.45, and the next support on the next day is $40.66. And we're getting close to the end of this pattern here, kind of. It's probably about 7 or 8 days away. But if you put your stop loss at like $39 and you bought it at $39.66, or whatever I just said, I think that's what I said. If you put your stop loss below that line there, then you're basically risking $1 or so to go up to either $50 or $65, depending on how it's going to play out. So anyway, we broke out of that pattern there right at the same point in time where KLDO is. We didn't go to the very end there, and look where it is, and look at the rounding bottom. So are we finding the stock early and we're about to have a massive run up? I don't know about you, but I am willing to take this small risk to make a potential of a lot of money. Because if this thing breaks out of this $10.35 area, then it's going to be good. So depending on how this RSI plays out on this daily, we'll have to see. If it comes back down, it could come to the 798 at the lowest, which is why we're going to set type stop losses. So if it falls below, we could make another play, try it at 880, 870, somewhere around there. Put a stop loss below. If it falls below that and it falls out negative of this pennant, that's, pretty bullish pattern right here, then obviously we have to reevaluate. But I like playing these things, so I'm giving it a try, and I'm going to have my stop loss somewhere around this $8.99, $9 area. And if it falls down below that, then you could look for $8.79 to $8.80 again. And then your stop loss would be somewhere in like $8.75, $8.73 area. And if it falls below that, then you're going down to that next trend line of support. And, definitely might not be its time. But the fact that it's testing this area, it's been touching this resistance, the more times that a stock bashes its head against resistance, the better of a chance to break out. And it does have some low volume on this thing, so it is a little strange that it moves so well, but I'm telling you, people are going to come in this thing once it breaks through that 1035 area. Maybe not until it's at $12 or something, $13, who knows.